Hello and welcome to Broadcast.gg. This is Pim in the Crib, and tonight we're bringing you some Open Division Community Show matches. Today we got Voltic Esports going up against Is Pepsi OK? And joining me as my casters are Rapture and Panda. How you doing, Rapture?
I'm doing pretty well, Pim. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to seeing these two teams compete. Yeah, we got Voltic and Pepsi. Pepsi with Haplo, Purple, King, Rube, Felt Up, and Muffins Rage. I believe they made it to the semifinals of the last season's of Open Division playoffs. So definitely a team that's been around for about 6 months or so and continuing to move forward in terms of their, continued placements in tournaments.
Yeah,
And over here,
Oh, I was gonna say, how you doing? How you doing, Panda?
I'm doing pretty good actually. I'm pretty excited to see these two teams duke it out. I mean, over here on Voltic Esports, though they haven't been together long at all, they have a couple tryouts. It may seem. You got Crodata, Hero, Chicken, Yuri, Dino, and our British friend Ginger on the main support side. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how these two teams duke it out, as they do favor the control maps. I'm very interested, and I'm pretty much just ready to get into this.
Yeah, and looking at both the teams, I mean, you see them have a pretty much similar lineup. You know, most of the part, the most famous dive comp with Genji and Tradester as your DPS. You see that Haplo is listed as a Reinhardt main. I'm sure that he can probably play Winston as well, as that's usually the pair. And first up, we are going to go into Lijiang Tower. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how these teams duke it out here, as we've seen teams both say, I think, that they enjoy control. So it'll be nice to see them. And Lijiang Tower is one of my favorite maps. So we're not sure on the map order. We might follow the Open Division Community Show match, or we might not, or the Open Division format. So the teams might cancel out, you know, if the map's not all the way, since it is a scrimmage. So yeah, we're here on Control Center though, and I'm excited for the action. You know, Pepsi I think they have a good shot at making it far here in Open Division. This is the 4th season, the first one of 2018.
Oh, there goes Muffins.
It looks like we have a
Early DC.
That's already a DQ. That's a game win over here. Unfortunate for Is Pepsi OK? But should be able to get back into the game pretty quickly. Yeah, I would say both of well, it definitely Is Pepsi OK. They've been playing obviously a bit longer, but they have competition experience in UGC League and Warp Meta. So this is a team that's certainly made it around, and of course, an Open Division. So their experience in terms of just the competitive format, whereas as we're seeing for Voltic, they're still doing tryouts. So we're definitely going to see two different dynamics from both of these teams in terms of like how they behave, because they're certainly going to be like looking for certain things and trying out players in certain ways rather than just going for a win. And of course, the chemistry might not be there as well. So that'll definitely be a big factor in this scrim for sure.
Oh yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, the communication really plays into these kind of games.
But that's like the cool thing about when you see a team that's just trying out versus a team that's already established. Like, how quickly can the trying out team, who's playing with players that they might be swapping in and out throughout the scrim, adapt to a team that has already got probably a game plan going in, that has already played together, and thus, you know, knows the quirks of going in with these players on their side. So I like to see how these teams break out in that manner.
That's a fair point.
And it looks like we actually had Chrono Dota. One of the players that's going to be trying out is actually getting swapped out. We're going to have Matman 909 in for him. So he's also a main tank as well. So it'll be interesting to see what these teams do here. Like I said, we are on Control Center at Lijiang Tower. And both these teams actually are 4,400, or near that. So should be a pretty even matchup. I couldn't find any tournaments where the teams played each other, but I'm sure they probably scrimmed before. But I'll take it away to you guys now.
All right. Well, it looks like here we got, is it Pepsi OK going to be coming out with straight? Oh, no, they're going to go ahead and just use Lucio for the speed boost immediately. Voltic's going to come onto the Patent Mercy here on first point. I'm pretty interested to see how Pepsi OK uses this Moira here, as the control takes in White Room.
Ooh, and already is Pepsi OK slaughtering in this corridor, getting a ton of kills. Kill feed's going blue. And they're going to push the rest of Voltic already back. I was going to point out that they ran the Zarya, and Purple also running the Zarya. Going to be able to maintain a lot more of that charge. It's unfortunate once you lose your Zarya so early, just that momentum is immediately killed. You're going to go back out with 0% charge. But both of these teams, we're kind of wondering whether or not they were going to run Reinhardt or Winston. They're both going for Reinhardt, of course. It's a lot more narrow, a lot more cover to take. You want to take advantage of those barriers.
The one part where you may see the advantage is Muffin's Rage already coming up along with that Coalescence, and King getting that Riptire. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how the ult advantage already plays in favor as Matman gets picked off early. This fight is already over.
Ooh, Chicken taking down Haplo. That's going to force PepsiOK to fall just back a little bit, but King getting back with the revenge. Nice Riptire kill onto Hero. Ginger picks up the res. The rest of PepsiOK is still kind of jockeying around this statue. Here comes the Graviton. They were just waiting for the rest of Volta to walk through that doorway. But no kills coming through. We even heard a Visor coming out too. Yeah, they nice patience just waiting around. But no follow-up entirely on that Graviton. They're actually missing out on a lot of kill opportunities. Still pushing Voltic back through this choke point still, and somehow holding on.
Muffin's Rage picking up that kill with the Biotic Orb, just holding on to that Coalescence for the right time. You can see King's already halfway to that Riptire as Chicken pulls his out and see if he picks up any kills with it. It gets killed by King's mine immediately. Wow. They're going to try to push on point with this, however. Here comes the Coalescence from Muffin.
Yep. Coalescence from Muffin. Oh, Earth Shatter for 2. Matman putting him down, but the barrier immediately from Felt up in response. Only one went down, but still able to at least conserve the rest of his team. Ginger gets a double res with the Valkyrie, and still Voltic having a hard time pushing up onto the point. They don't really have any burst damage outside of Chicken, so these kills have been coming few and far between, and even Purple picking up one to put down Matman. That's going to be the end of this push as Voltic pushes back and falls back with 85% on the board.
I was about to say the scary part is, here comes along with that Graviton Surge. Purple ending the fight before it even starts. They're already at 92%, and they don't have any ults on the side of Voltic. They got to be very careful here. I don't even know if they can make it a point.
They just haven't had like a real fight to really build up any kind of ult charge whatsoever. So it's not surprising that Purple was able to cycle in these Gravitons in between a barrier from Felt up from these endless Riptires, it seems, from King. So just a huge difference in ultimate management and ultimate usage on the side of PepsiOK, whereas Voltic really struggling to build up any meter whatsoever. And so that just gave them very little leverage once they did make an attempt onto the point.
Any meter, let alone ult charge, they just were unable to gain advantage on any of these team fights. We're going to see how they go to the drawing board with both teams taking the Winston this time. Looks like we're going to have pretty similar lineups over here. Pretty standard sup over here for Gardens.
Yeah, switching over to dive makes sense. A lot more open areas, a lot more opportunities to flank, and with less cover, you don't really. You just want to be careful with having those slower characters like Reinhardt or Zarya. So, of course, yeah, Winston and D.Va getting into it, and King getting first blood onto Ginger. And that's going to cue the rest of PepsiOK to dive right onto the rest of Voltic. We're sitting on the bridge. Nice charge kill on from Purple. Big boop from King. Yeah, getting the 1-2. And that's going to completely deflate Voltic as once again sitting behind this choke point, and they're going to give up most likely this first capture.
That's all. Pretty interesting. I mean, again, just who gets to the point first on Gardens, who can get that to the enemy's team's face faster, and it seemed that Voltic was a little hesitant on where they wanted to go with their dive, but Pepsi knew immediately they had to take bridge control, and they did.
A little bit contested onto the point, but King gets rid of that nuisance. Also picks up one onto Matman. Gets chased down, but gets away from him. Meanwhile, Yuri picks a kill on the Muffin, but the trade from Brubon to the other Mercy Dino. Hero charging around, almost gets booped off the bridge, but just barely getting back onto land after that cooldown went down. Chicken picking up King. This could swing things here for Voltic, but King getting rid of Hero, so without that D.Va mech, it's going to be hard for the rest of the team to create space. It forces Matman to jump onto Purple, but here comes the bomb out just to give himself some breathing room as he gets back into his mech, and to continue the rest of this fight, a pulse bomb drone and baited out for him. He doesn't get killed from it, and another pulse bomb going out as well. Both of those tracers missing that. Matman going to jump away, and that should still make a very chaotic fight here onto the point.
Though Voltic did get some picks off early in that engagement, Haplo still had enough time to, mosey his way, jump back to point as quick as Winston's do. But here comes a big sound barrier trying to protect his team, trying to get back onto this point to keep contention going from its PepsiOK.
Ooh, and that's
gonna stop that immediately.
Big. Yeah, this could be a nice stagger too. They're not gonna get either of these tanks, but they got the Lucio, forcing out a bomb as well from the D.Va. Not gonna get any kills off that, but he just wants to continue to contest. But a lot of time being burnt away here, and PepsiOK just eating it up. Now it's 70%. Chicken does get the kill on the Muffin's Rage and the double kill on the Felt up. And the Valkyrie and Mercy just barely getting out in time. Purple gets picked down. This should be all Voltic onto the point, but right now, all we need to see from Pepsi is just to try and just annoy as much as possible and get the rest of this percentage, get some extra credit. They do finally get booped off. It's just this Lucio Felt up on the wall, as well as Kinger gets headshotted by Hero's baby D.Va, and this should be the rest of it. Voltic still unable.
That's huge. The stall is very real. They want to get this all the way to overtime before they even think about stopping. And there you go. Haplo's calling for the regroup. They're stopping right there. But you can still tell in the favor of his Pepsi OK. The ult advantage is still theirs. Yes, they have the Valkyrie to answer. Another self-destruct for Hero will be coming online, but Purple's not far behind as well.
Oh, and Pepsi OK taking no time to jump right in there. No hesitation. A little bit of contention, but unfortunately Haplo missing his jump into the window. Now has to force his way onto the fight in front of the house. Nice pickup from Muffin Rage to get King back in. That's going to force out a bomb as he tries to pick up anyone still out in the front. But everyone takes cover, and that should be it from that kill. A big triple kill, though, from Rube.
That pulse bomb was huge. Dino's going to answer along with the Valkyrie. He's going to pick up both Hero and Yuri to get back in his mech. To use that self-destruct, he's going to pick up a few. Chicken is just going to pick up all of these extra kills. Going to get a barrage online himself. And Voltic's going to take clean control of these gardens. All along, while is Pepsi OK using their ultimates, all they have online right now is King's Barrage. It's going to be interesting to see how they attack this now with ult advantage going in favor of Voltic.
And Voltic finally stabilizing in this set, but for how long? They do have Ginger, though, about to get this sound barrier. And with both teams without a Zenyatta, could make some of these kills, just the time to kill, that much larger, where they really have to commit to going into here. And so Pepsi diving in as quickly as possible, trying to disrupt this front line, does so, allowing the rest of his team to move right in. And King actually circumventing Chicken, but that's a huge mistake, as Chicken's right behind him with an ultimate of his own. And then there's two for Purple.
Picking up two, wow. All while Haplo uses the Primal Rage, so again, just as Pepsi OK gonna have to try to go for the stall as control meter gets to 80%. They might be trying to still take this, but with the kill onto Diva's mech, Dino's gonna fall as well. This might as well be winnable. There's some blue coming through the kill feed here.
Oh, King very carefully stepping onto the ground, does pick up a kill there onto Yuri, who just picked up a double kill on the mech and then on Rube respectively. Still Ginger, which is flailing around on the point by himself, and that's gonna be the swing there. Oh, is Voltic be able to get on there in time? Just barely there. There's the Pharah from Chicken, touching onto the point, and the rest of his team's going to follow in through. Hero getting absolutely pulverized by the Winston and Co. He gets knocked out of mech. Madman does pick up a kill. Rube D-Mex. Yuri gets the kill onto King. That's huge. And King was getting close to a barrage. He was able to get the rest of this fight in. Here comes the bomb, and Voltic now getting the numbers advantage in this fight. Rube, and now here comes the Primal Rage. Rube picks up two, and then the Primal Rage coming out here from Haplo.
What's very interesting about this stall still coming through is the 99 to 99%. So long as Haplo stays in that Primal Rage, he'll have enough time for his team to come back, I assume. And yes, here comes the reinforcements. If he gets healed up, this is going to be bad news. But the team
very little room here for King to get in here.
Online for Muffin.
Oh, and Chicken again has King's number. King doesn't turn around, again goes down. The D-Mech coming out. Oh, but the Pulse Bomb lands on the mech and kills the D-Meching Baby Diva as well as the Mercy. Another Diva Bomb, but it's outside of the point. That's not going to... Oh, it actually connects on a Haplo haphazardly there, but still they take those. And immediately, that should actually be a swing. Voltic stealing it away.
That's beautiful work on the side of Voltic. They really took notes from that first control point, wanted to work on their ult management, and they really turned that one around.
Yeah, that could have absolutely gone either way. Both teams really having a hard time just keeping their footing on it, on the point, and that might come from the fact, again, we didn't see the Zenyatta. Both teams running a Pharah, so it becomes a huge dynamic change from fighting on the outside of the point to trying to actually get kills on the inside, because you just put your body on the line. So much more so when you're actually in the close quarters of that point. And we saw it multiple times how King would go in looking for some quick kills, and Chicken would come out of nowhere and pick him up immediately. So might have to be a little more aware of that as we go into round 3 of Lijiang and the night market, and each team running the same team except Muffin's Rage now in the Zenyatta.
This is going to be interesting how both teams are taking the backside of point immediately. What you're going to end up seeing is Pepsi OK take point immediately. Felt up getting booped off, getting the boops onto Ginger, killing his equal. And that's going to be an early team fight won by his Pepsi OK. They're going to stay out here a little longer. They might be able to get reinforcements out here to contest point, but it's looking unlikely. They're swarming point like dogs.
Yeah, they're just having a hard time getting around this block on the outside. They finally rush right in. Purple's waiting for Hero. D-Mechs him. Chicken picks a kill on Muffin's Rage, but he's already done so much work with that Discord Orb. King slicing and dicing, picks up 2. That should be the end of this push, or at least hold here from Voltic. And yeah, that's the capture from is Pepsi OK. There's a big difference coming out here from Muffin's Rage. Just it makes it so much harder to deal with this Discord on every big body and every Pharah that pokes. So I mean, Voltic really going to have a lot of trouble dealing with these outright fights when they have a Discord on their big important targets.
Oh, I agree entirely. And this is what we kind of talked about in the pre-show a little bit too. You know, is Pepsi okay is playing on their comfort here. Their full dive. There is no mercy, but the early picks are coming through with that big pulse bomb from Yuri, picking up both supports and stealing Lucio while he's at it. That's big.
Yeah, and they're not running a mercy, so no resurrections coming out. They don't have that added, like, kind of get out of jail free card with a mercy can just dive out of harm's way and connect to somebody. So both Lucio and Zenyatta now pulse bomb targets, and we saw it right there, getting a bunch of kills from Yuri. Now Voltic's setting up outside of this checkpoint, but they have to watch the Diva Bomb coming out. That's not going to connect on anybody, but a response Diva Bomb forcing the defense kind of off their footing. Chicken again trying to get in, puts the barrage down, but King routs him, gets the pick. Dino gets the res onto Yuri. Purple picking up Matman. The fight now just still transitioning into this middle garden area. Neither team getting onto the point entirely, and Hero gets DMA'd.
What a brawl. This is going back and forth, but I think the blue will be out swinging in the kill feed against the red. They have the ults and they have the advantage here. It looks like that they're going to be able to claim point as soon as they get the Genji and everybody. Here comes the Winston, though. They're going to try to stall this out a little bit longer to gain control meter.
Yeah, they're going to do it.
From Matman.
And this is still somehow working out. I thought they were going to get staggered a little bit here, but this Primal Rage was enough to get this sound barrier in, as well as Hero's mech. Haplo knocking away Yuri out of the blink. Ginger picks up Purple as he gets DMAC. Here comes Hero DMAC as well. Now a reversal sound barrier coming out from Felt Up. Now that the numbers have gone more for Pepsi okay, but Matman putting an end to that, taking out King. Now throwing down another Primal Rage. Root picks up kill onto Chicken with the Pulse Bomb, but that's res by Dino. Felt Up trying to chase down Ginger, but gets killed by Chicken. And then Chicken finding Rube as he steps in the doorway. Again, without anyone taking care of Chicken there, especially with King out of the fray, there's very little to do anything about that, and Voltic's gonna hold on.
It's so hard to deal with that Pharah without a proper hit scan. I mean, you can throw D.Va on it as much as you want, but she's just so able to stay up there as long with the D.Va changes coming through a little bit ago. All the free damage in the world.
Yeah, and not only that, but
Resurrect's gonna come through.
Diving. All right, they're gonna have to touch this just in time. Oh, Chrono Dota actually getting. Oh, he's not in the. I got confused. He's on the roster, but he left spectator. Diva Bomb coming in.
That was actually a pretty big fight and a really good hold on the side of Voltic. Again, going back to the drawing board and really giving it their all to hold on to as many ults as possible. Being a lot more patient with that as well really played into their favor. I mean, having the advantage of having the Pharah in the sky to keep Mercy as safe, not only for Valkyrie to give off all the burst healing in the known universe, but to take advantage of the slow healing and the long cooldown of the Fade Shift from Lucio and as well as Zenyatta. It's just difficult to play against.
Yeah, there's so much sustain in that, and you would think, oh, maybe a little bit of a weakness not having the Mercy, but certainly worked out for them. And you talked about too how there was an issue not having a hit scan or just that good amount of burst damage outside of D.Va to take care of the Pharah. And we saw Chicken just doing a bunch of work on that Pharah. And once you're running, I mean, you can have Tracer and D.Va kind of on Pharah duty, but it really is enough if you don't have that long range hit scan or just something to burst damage onto the Pharah, especially when you have a Zenyatta throwing down, orbs everywhere too. So we'll see how these teams adapt going into the next map here. It is, of course, Escort. I'm assuming that they'll be going Escort here, and we do have Nambani lined up, it seems, in the slot. So it will indeed look like we're going to go with those Overwatch Open Division rule set, which is Control, Escort, Assault, Hybrid, and then if there's a tiebreaker, another Control map. And yeah, it looks like we might be going to Nambani, which
skipping over a few things here.
Yeah, possibly. Also, we saw Matman kind of move out of the lobby, or at least the roster for Voltic a little bit. So wondering if Chrono's going to get back into the game.
Well, we know that they're going to be doing a few subs here, or a few tryouts, it seems.
So Chrono getting back in. Matman was the main tank in that previous set, so obviously expect Chrono Dota to fill that same role. And both teams are now readying up. Very interested to see how Nambani, if we do stick with this, goes for Pepsi okay. Is the team I felt like they were kind of just dying for a little more verticality on that map, and Lijiang doesn't necessarily provide too much of that. So Nambani, it's great for a Genji or a Pharah to really let loose and have more, just more workspace essentially to get things done. And so now we move to this map. We'll see if maybe that's a big change for Pepsi if they stay with more or less a similar dive comp, which is pretty standard for Nabani.
And who knows, man? Maybe they just need their humble Chrono Dota, their Winston calling card, so that way they can create all the space for them. That really plays into a lot for them as well. I mean, though they did take it, it's a little bit more commanding with a Winston who's always creating space like that.
Absolutely.
It's like you said too. I mean, having on Nubani, it's Genji's playground, all this high ground control. As we know that both Chicken and King, their projectile DPS respectively for both their teams, enjoy their Genji.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're seeing King possibly tap this 76, and on defense that definitely makes sense. Can absolutely set him up on that far high ground that Nabani gives you. It's somewhat similar to Gibraltar first point. We have him set up on that far high ground as well, and sometimes
Pretty
even see
standard
Widowmaker. Yeah, pretty standard. So not surprised to see that, but again, not a ton of burst damage. They do have Anna, interesting enough, Anna Mercy, which isn't completely standard in terms of a support lineup, but will remain to be seen because Anna kind of gives the other team a pretty solid dive target to get onto, especially at 76 as well. So both 76 and Anna, they do have to be careful of getting dived on, and once those two go down, it's a big chunk of damage and healing coming out. That team's going to be lost. So
They're really going to have to focus on all the barriers as well,
Yep.
so that way they can get all the burst healing from Anna. Without that nade hitting everybody, it can really shut down a team fight. And like you said, she's very easy to be dove in, and without that self-healing like Mercy, Lucio, and even Zenyatta, it makes it difficult for Anna to stay past the mid-fight by herself.
let's see how Voltic deals with it, because they are running the same composition we saw last time. Chrono Dota is on the Winston. They're going for that dive. They're going Mercy Lucio, so they're just going to have that boost to try and get him in as soon as possible. Right now, they're just jockeying outside the point, looking for a way in. Then finally, the dive upstairs, looking for the Anna. And yeah, they got rid of the soldier, trying to focus down the Anna, but both of them get off the point. It's actually Haplo that gets knocked down first for the count. Feldup's going to force to use the res to get him back into it, but already 2 ticks have been completed here from Voltic, and they almost stole away third as the rest of Pepsi OK completely obliterate off the point. Haplo is down again. Purple's low on his mech and trying to chase everyone down, but he actually gets distracted, and now Hero picks up the kill. Purple trying to get rid of Dino, but he's going to get absolutely obliterated here by Hero. This should be a cleanup, and Voltic should be able to take this point.
And King's getting close to that tac visor. He might end up trying to pop this. I hope not, because Hero's very healthy and very close to his self-destruct inside that Diva. Nope, because Feltup dying early, but rezzing Purple, that might be a stagger there. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, King not even getting the opportunity to throw down the visor, gets stuck with a pulse bomb by Yuri. Yuri is just putting the team on his back right now. Big pulse bombs, big kills, and that's a little bit of a stagger too. Not going to be a huge difference considering the payload really hasn't moved too much, but still, that's indicative of how much work Yuri's been doing so far. And we saw a lot of it too.
He's already halfway to another one too, man.
Yeah. Though Rube is also sitting on a pulse bomb. We need a big pulse bomb from Ruben. Hasn't been a slouch this set yet. Also getting a bunch of kills, and has been a good linchpin part of this because he hasn't switched off this DPS. We've seen King move around from Pharah to Genji to 76. Rube has been staying on this Tracer throughout the majority of this set, if not the entirety.
Yeah, everybody needs their Soon. You know, everybody needs their nice little Soon on their team. I like playing with a good Tracer as well. It's always pretty interesting to have that constant DPS pressure. But here comes the Valkyrie in favor of, is Pepsi OK with the self-destruct from Hero? It's gonna pick up King. Pulse Bomb's gonna pick up as well. This is just kind of a brawl back and forth already as the payload just moves down streets. Chicken.
Ooh. Chicken not getting anything off of that fair barrage, and that's kind of been a trend throughout this set, is that neither team has a guaranteed setup into getting barrage kills. They don't have a Graviton or any crowd control ultimates other than Primal Rage, which of course is going to knock people away and not keep them in place. So they're just going for raw barrages, and they've been mostly inconsistent. Neither team's setting up a guaranteed kill confirm for that, so they're just kind of going for it and whiffing a majority of the time. So low value out of all these. Yeah.
You see Chicken swapping over to Genji too. That might have been why he wanted to pop that barrage, to see if he can get something cheeky off. But he knew that he needed to swap to get that high ground advantage a little bit easier.
Yeah, especially as we move into the second and third phases of this map. Genji's a big vital resource, and also another great option to dive onto Zenyatta, as we see there Muffin's Rage going down. And we had Mercy and Anna, but they've changed off to Mercy and Zenyatta, which makes more sense. But still, Zenyatta, without Transcendence, is a big diveable target. He does have Trans, though, so once Chicken has that blade, he's going to be waiting for it to pop that Transcendence and hopefully keep his team alive on this next offensive push. They're going to need it because now we're on phase 3.
Yuri is scary with the amount of backline pressure. He killed that soldier while he was in the middle of his tac visor, and it was brutal. A nice pulse bomb to get Haplo up out of the way to get this fight off early. Hero's gonna try to find something with a self-destruct, but it just zones everybody as Euro just leaves her out of mech too. That's very unfortunate. Picking up the mech kill from Purple, and this team and this payload is moving forward.
And Hero, despite not getting anything on that bomb, doesn't matter. Picks up 2 afterward. And big targets too, especially getting, again, that Zenyatta with the Transcendence, so that's not going to be an option until he gets back into this fight. Moving up, Chicken is about to have the blade as well, so certainly going to be waiting for that option once that blade pops. Chicken is sitting right there, gets the reflect onto Muffin's Rage. I take that back. That's a huge loss going into this fight. Feltup has to use the res.
We're going to have to see if he's going to have to use the Transcendence just to come play back out on point.
Oh,
And they're not even going to be able to get back on a point.
That's a zoning ult right there.
Very, very zoned ult.
So, Voltic, Voltic is... they had a little bit, they just had to get their momentum going in, King of the Hill on control, but here in Amani, they're no hesitation whatsoever. They've essentially pushed that completely through unabated, posting a 3-minute and 49-second time here. Looking very good, and good job on them making some appropriate changes when needed, but it really was Pepsi. They were kind of, I guess experimenting with different picks here, and that wasn't really going to stop the payload entirely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they tried going in with a few hero swaps themselves, but they just couldn't gain any footing to run here on Nubani and Streets. They stopped it once, but when Chicken ended up switching over to Genji, the dive got a little bit stronger and a little bit more focused, and it really paid off in the end for them.
Yeah, we saw a lot of just really good target usage. Saw how many times that Muffin's Rage got silenced before being able to pop the Transcendence. That's big when you're able to confirm on that kill time and time again, and essentially take them out of the fight, delete them off the server, if you will, multiple times. So we'll see if Pepsi OK is able to replicate that as they go into their offensive push. 30 seconds on the clock before we get into that, and most likely going to stick with the composition they've already laid out here, which is dive, but they're not going with the Tracer. So I was talking about earlier, we always want to have that soon, like you said, on your team, but Rube finally changing over to the Genji, not having the Tracer, and we have King on the Pharah, so they've foregone the Tracer, and that'll be interesting.
Giving up the Tracer on this first fight here.
I feel like that makes sense for Voltic, because there's just less targets for a Tracer to get and harass in the back line because they're so mobile. But for Pepsi OK, they could probably do well with the Tracer, considering he could harass the Zenyatta and harass the 76 a lot. So I wonder if maybe that's a missed opportunity there again to have the Tracer and pop off a little bit as we've seen throughout this set.
Gonna have to see how this focus dive goes down. Haplo's probably gonna want to dive up onto that high ground for the soldier immediately. It's gonna be a juicy Zenyatta waiting for him, and he goes down immediately.
Yeah, Dino Yuri getting absolutely bodied. Very quick dive kills, so already 6-4 advantage. Ginger trying to sway his way in and help the rest of the team in its corner. It is this Genji diving right back in, and Chicken, unable to confirm on a kill, retreats back upstairs, and the rest of his team is getting slaughtered in the meantime. King making quick work of Hero and the rest. Rube now getting that last kill onto Chrono Dota, and Pepsi doing it even faster than Voltic did.
And that's the thing about maps like these, and especially hybrids like Nubani, where there's high ground all the time. For a dive team like this that's very comfortable on the Genji and Winston along with D.Va, they can focus down targets almost immediately. The old advantage going immediately in favor of his Pepsi.
And there was Rube switching back over to the Tracer, so they needed the verticality from Genji to make that dive successful, but now that things are going to be more grounded for the second phase, Tracer's a great switch over. Now they have Tracer Pharah. King throwing down a lot of damage from upstairs, try to demech this Pharah a little bit, also catch Yuri, who just jostling out on the street. Here comes the Genji blade as well as a bomb. Chicken picks up a felt up kill, but no bomb going down. King gets a kill, and Rube getting a headshot into Chicken as he overextends into that back line. And that should be mostly comfortable here for Pepsi. They're going to burn another ultimate just in case. Not going to get a kill, just again, zoning ultimate. And now trying to pick up some staggers. The rest of Voltic trying to get out of harm's way and unable to do so.
I don't know how worth that did she call that D.Va ultimate so that way she could get a mech faster? Because the Valkyrie was live. You would kind of hope to want to have that online so that way you can cap this second. That might come back to bite them a little bit. King does have the barrage though, along with the sound barrier and the primal rage, so they might be able to cap this out, but I just with the zoning ult, along with Mercy, it's just a little questionable.
And that payload now just walking right. Oh, actually, almost gets right into the checkpoint, but stopped just in the nick of time here. A rocket barrage coming down from King gets pocketed, but immediately thrown down the defense matrix. There is Hero, and now Dino transcendence onto the point. Hero keeping his back in the back line. Purple now diving up onto him. And looking for Ginger as well as the Winston. Rube's able to pick up the kill though. And Chronodota getting rid of this mech. Once these mechs go, Yuri might have actually popping the visor just as these mechs go down, but he's not really in any kind of position to get many kills. It's only felt up that gets caught by his line of sight, and that'll be just it. Still, this checkpoint is just a 2 meters and 22, just 2 meters and now less away from this payload, and finally they walk it in.
Now, along with the Primal Rage from Haplo, he was trying his darnest to hold on to that as long as possible with Felt Up using the sound barrier towards the end of that fight. The correct amount of ultimates and picking coming through. Chronodota was trying his best to get Haplo off the map. It did not work. Answering Primal Rage to get the point, and this fight is underway, it seems. Both teams just trying to feel each other out as this card just rolls back in here to last.
Yeah,
the time and ult advantage.
Yeah, time ult advantage, trying to build up a little more ultimates as well. They get the bomb as the blades coming out into their back line, and Chicken getting rid of Muffin's Rage as Purple was in position to help him out and peel. But Purple did get a kill in the way, getting Ginger for his troubles. And both teams now trading onto the point. Hero diving, trying to get rid of this Winston with the help of Chronodota, and they are successful. Now it's just Tracer on the point. Rube's also going to get routed. That's 4 minutes and 20 seconds in the clock as Voltic reset things once again.
See the flexibility from Chicken to come out time and time again. Now he's on the Tracer, along with Yuri being close to that tactical visor might be the reasoning. But they need this dive to come through a little bit stronger to get apart this Mercy, as the Valkyrie is going to be online for the fight of his Pepsi. This might be the final fight in here, with the barrage coming through and Winston being close as well to his Primal Rage.
And there's the Primal Rage being popped by Chronodota, trying to just disrupt the entirety of this point, but also finding Muffin's Rage as he dives right in, gets a nice pickup. Yuri getting rid of King, and now the fight transitioning back towards the point, and Chicken getting absolutely destroyed by Rube as he tries to route the rest of the team with a nice split. Doesn't get it. A long-range right-click there from Yuri, not going to connect on anything. And the rest of the team's going to push back as Purple does jump off the point a little bit, but he also got D-Mech, so didn't really have much of a choice. Now 3 minutes left, and 3 minutes and 30 seconds now change left on the board.
And they're just holding on to ultimates back there. That Chicken switching over to Tracer, like I said, that dive to pick apart one target one by one to stop this push before it happens, to elongate it, just for time advantage alone is good. Good bubble coming in from Haplo to stop that as well.
Yeah, probably not the most necessary Diva Bomb coming out, but nonetheless they throw it down. Dino throwing down the Transcendence, Felt Up with the barrier. A visor from Yuri. Oh, the barrier is a huge stop to that, and he's also unable to really get a good line of sight at anything. Meanwhile, the rest of his team's getting bodied. King and Rube getting a bunch. Muffin's Rage getting Haplo back into the fray. And our Hero getting D-Mech'd, while Purple throwing down a Diva Bomb into the back line. Not going to connect and really not zone anyone out, as everyone's pretty much dead at this point. Chronodota also getting body, and now just the Mercy Ginger on the point. He's gonna get staggered a little bit, and once Yuri joins him onto it, also gonna get staggered. And even this Tracer probably gonna get out before it's too late, but Chicken putting his body on the line, risking it all, and not making a worthwhile investment there. Going down, and now 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, they're getting and inching up closer, but neither team seeing an ultimate until Rube picking that up. Chronodota is very close to this Primal Rage, though.
We're going to have to see if is Pepsi okay is going to stop the stall from coming out, as Voltic taking the smart to stall or to wait up and group up to take this immediately as red does come through on the kill feed, as the heals are coming through. The picks necessary to stop this push on third, dead in its tracks. Primal Rage just used just to confirm the point. Oh, they're trying to stall Rube over here. This is...
Oh, Rube getting and juking his way through, looking possibly for a backline stick, but he's not close to that, of course. Not even, just barely surpassing 60% now. Still disrupting the backline a little bit, falling back 4 meters, about 5 meters now as this payload just hanging around there. And now the rest of Voltic just trying to get a little bit of that upper advantage as the rest of the team from Pepsi circling around below, trying to flank just a little bit. They're realizing the payload just kind of sitting, and Dino's actually kind of by himself a little bit, as well as Ginger in the back, but no one's going to dive in entirely. The tank's falling back here as Chicken picks up Muffin's Rage with a pulse bomb. And now the rest of Pepsi falling back a little bit, even though Rube is discorded, gonna have to get out and almost getting nicked there as he goes around the corner. Now another reset here from Pepsi.
And the hardest part about this stall over and over again is that Voltic themselves, they're not using too many ults to commit to these pushes over and over again. Maybe a Winston ult, but he's already up at 61%. Maybe a Tracer bomb, but she gets that immediately in the mid-fight. It's interesting because they already have 4 ults online versus Rube on the Pulse Bomb. They do have the sound barrier with King about to have the Dragon Blade. The ults will be online, but they're just holding these in their pocket for Voltic, so this team fight might be interesting.
Let's see if they wait for... I think they're not gonna, they're just gonna go right in here. Let's see if they pop any ultimates immediately, but a Diva Bomb coming out here from Hero to try and stop things. Doesn't get anything done. Haplo with the dive onto Ginger, and now a Blade from King, taking out Yuri. Yuri was sitting on the visor. It's a big pickup. Hero, meanwhile, chasing down this monkey, but unable to really get anything. Getting mostly distracted as the rest of his team's getting bodied, and now a big stagger onto Hero, gets DMEC, gets killed. And they have Chrono Dota still sitting on the Primal Rage, so when he jumps out, should be able to burn that. But the Valkyrie from Ginger gets absolutely obliterated. Dumping on now is Chicken, still on this Tracer. Chrono's onto the point. He's going to throw out the Primal. Immediately, King, what a big reflect on that visor onto Yuri. Hero now finding this Mercy up, but he's Valkyring. It's not going to be hard to take care of Muffins there. King and Rube getting onto the payload, getting some kills. Diva Mac coming down from Hero, not going to be able to make so much room for the rest of this team. Haplo getting slept from Ginger, but then found out by Purple, and now it's just this May by themselves. A Diva Bomb gonna meet him. Oh, the wall getting in the way. Yuri can't do anything after that, and that's not gonna be a hold. Both teams completing on this map are going to a round 3.
This dive from Is Pepsi okay on that last point, it almost seemed like Genji was everywhere. That was nuts.
Yeah. Just
Dash
doing
reset after dash reset.
a crazy amount, and that reflect. You don't see, it's definitely a really solid reflect. That's unfortunate for 76. Can't really help that.
He wanted to try on his visor, and I think it fit pretty well. I think it fit pretty well.
So now it looks like we're going over to a pure payload map here. So we have Gibraltar waiting in the wings. Is Pepsi okay and Voltic still going at it in this show match? Thank you all for tuning in. Broadcast.gg. And honestly, Voltic still doing a great job despite essentially being kind of a tryout team a little here, just swapping out. But of course, it's not like they're just like a random like solo queue team or anything. So there's still like definitely some kind of foundation here that they're working with. It's just right now we're seeing the swaps of Chrono Dota and Matman. It might be we're seeing Chrono Dota stick around for this next map. Meanwhile, Is Pepsi okay? Again, a team that's been around for about 6 months or so, has played in multiple competitions, Open Division, and then among others. They're kind of going, head to head, pretty even with Voltic here as we move on to Gibraltar.
It's pretty nice to see on both teams wanting to try out different things, but once one team answers with dive, they say, okay, you want to dive us? We'll dive you too, and we'll see who can dive each other the worst. And that's pretty much the extent of the games, and it's a lot of mechanical pressure on the side of everybody, it seems. This is a very, very fun game to watch.
Yeah, it's cool to see not only them going dive, but the little variations on it, depending on their DPS lineup, whether or not they're going to keep the Tracer, they're going Pharah, Genji, or 76. But also, yeah, a lot of pressure, I think, especially on these tanks, too. It's so important for Hero and for Purple to stay in mech as long as possible. So important for Haplo or Chrono Dota not to just die and get melted immediately once they dive in. Especially because these teams aren't running Zenyatta a lot of the time, so they don't have that reliance on Harmony Orb or Discord on their target whoever they're diving, so it makes their margin of error a lot smaller going in for these dives. But still, it really hasn't stopped either of these teams from routing and killing their dive targets very quickly. We saw that in Nambani, Pepsi getting just immediately 2 kills in like 0.5 seconds on that dive and getting a very swift capture on Nambani point A. So both of these teams are very capable of it. But now as we go to Gibraltar, a map that has just as much cover at times when it does have openness, but also very snowbally. So let's see which team has the most stamina and most endurance as we go into Gibraltar. Ooh, Chrono Dota is sitting on the Moira, but I was like, yeah, this is a main tank player, so I was.
Be interesting to see the triple support.
Yeah, triple support.
I don't know if Chicken's trolling us right here on this Hanzo pick, but I hope he's not. He might just be Sonic airing the close door to switch. Yes, he is. Yeah,
just want to get a little bit of sights around that corner, a little bit of wall hack. King diving right in, forcing Chrono to also jump back, and he's actually way overextended there and gets bopped
Fall immediately.
pretty quickly. Yeah, and even Purple losing mech, so the rest of this team is all they have is Haplo to help them out here and tank a little bit of damage and peel, and he even has to run away. And this is a pretty big falling apart here from Pepsi, as they really didn't seem to have any game plan whatsoever. They kind of just like buzzed around that first point or the spawn doors and didn't really seem to know what they were doing.
wanted to do. They have that close mega hacked from Muffin's Rage, and they wanted to play very close and aggressive to have both those packs hacked and to kill them from behind to take point control like that. But it didn't work out in their favor. The dive was coming too strong. King was way too far forward, diving early. There was just too much damage.
They did build them a little bit of ult charge though, despite not working out entirely. Muffin's Rage getting pretty close to this EMP here, but already a blade coming out from Chicken. And he's slicing and dicing, only going to be able to confirm on just a helpful assist there until Yuri gets a headshot there by King. Hero's going to DMAC Purple. And this should be another reset onto Pepsi, as they've just been having a lot of trouble keeping this payload from stopping Voltic. Yeah, like you said, this dive has been very, very strong. And Zenyatta throwing this dive. I think, again, Dino being on this Zenyatta is such a huge difference here. The EMP coming down. Dino does get body as the EMP gets thrown down by Haplo. And now the rest of the team looking and scavenging for these kills. Again, it is Voltic just shredding the entirety of Pepsi's. Okay.
You can ENP them all you want to. It's just an unfortunate nature of having a lot of burst healing on the other side of Voltic. I mean, they have the Mercy, who was well hidden, didn't get hit by the EMP, was able to pop out the Valkyrie to bring back the Zenyatta at full health. He does have his Transcendence to push through this the second part of Gibraltar here. There you go. You see Muffin's Rage. They're now switching over to their full dive, their most comfortable pick, just to try to answer the healing a little bit more.
Yuri sitting... Yeah, Purple throwing down a kill on a hero, but Yuri picking up 2, sitting on this bridge, completely unabated here. No one's putting any pressure on him whatsoever. And this is partially why Gibraltar can be so snowbally here, is you have these really long sight lines and potential for hit scan to get a bunch of quick kills, and they've gotten a couple picks, and this payload is literally just strolling into the second checkpoint without as so much of a fight here from Pepsi. Okay, finally they're going to get onto the payload with the barrier coming out from Felt Up. They're looking for Zenyatta, but of course he throws down the Transcendence, coming out from Dino and comboing with Chicken's Blade. They're not going to be able to get anything except to Felt Up, unfortunately. Doesn't get away from that door, but King picks up 2 on that dash with his Blade, and Yuri getting rid of Purple, but still evening the odds. But again, Yuri by himself picks up 2. And going ham on this upstairs, forcing the Primal Raging Monkey from Haplo to finally deal with that. But Yuri's still putting on some damage. Haplo finally cleans it up, but he's by himself, gets routed, and that's gonna be another cleanup here. It should be at least Muffin's Rage trying to just at least stagger a little bit, trying to keep some pressure onto the payload. It's a 2-on-2 fight here. Here does pick up Muffin's Rage. The defense should actually be able to hold this for just a little while longer, but very, very close to this checkpoint.
It took them a little while longer than most to deal along with that Widowmaker, but the damage was just enough just to get through it, to get that defense back.
Yeah, eventually you do have to acknowledge it. Good job by Haplo, just getting him off that high ground, and once he's off the high ground, usage becomes so much less effective. But now Yuri again upstairs, that forces King to dive up onto him and force him off. Not going to pick up the kill, as being pocketed there by Ginger, and then nice, gets the poison trap kill, and now a bomb for good measure is going to connect on anybody, not going to, and now Hero now getting closer to their bomb as this checkpoint's going to go in. Haplo is going to get bopped.
Gonna go over and kill himself off.
Yeah, that's just
die anyway. Gonna see if there's any good staggers over here. A self bop.
Self bop. That's when you know it's really over. So moving into phase 3.
Self boops.
Self boop.
The Gibraltar special.
Yuri's really a problem. They got to figure out what they got to do against this. They not only have Yuri sitting here, he's being pocketed by this Mercy. He has a Harmony Orb on him if he needs it. And then, of course, being a lot of space being created by his tanks. Yuri picking up Felt Up. That could be a cue for the rest of the team to go in here and harass. And certainly it is. It's Chrono Dota popping the Primal Rage and trying to get rid of Muffin's Rage, and does so in the back area. And already the entirety of Pepsi OK is being destroyed before the fight even happens here. And this is looking really good for Voltic.
Rube unfortunately missed that pulse bomb onto the Mercy, who was resurrecting Yuri after he got picked. You can see this is part of the snowball problem you were noticing, is all the ult advantage just being in the favor of Voltic. They have every ult in their pocket. They're going to try to get the stall on a point here, though.
And there's no one doing anything about Yuri until King's like, oh, I'm going to correct you on that. He does force him off the point, or off the bridge, but not going to be able to confirm on a kill as Chrono finds him inside. Here comes the D.Va bomb, not going to get anyone off, but does keep people off the payload as Rube trying to find a little bit of leverage here. Gets destroyed. Muffin's Rage puts down Chicken as well, evening the odd just a little bit, and now Felt Up going for the Valve. Chicken chasing him down, can't get the kill, getting just lost in their dust. Yuri does get the kill on the King, but this kill feed is going blue finally for Pepsi. Okay, better late than never as Rube landing a pulse bomb, probably one after a very long time. I haven't seen one all Gibraltar, in fact. And Yuri, now the last one alive, forced off the bridge, gets killed. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. And Voltic finally does have to go back to the drawing board. Essentially their first full hold are being held on this map.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it took the respawn advantage to finally get his Pepsi OK some footing into this defense here. But I think the ult advantage is still heavily in favor of his Pepsi OK. They're going to be able to hold this for a little while longer. If not Chicken being able to get this huge blade to accompany along with this Primal Rage coming in the way of Chrono.
Yeah, well, let's see. Chrono's going to have to prop this Primal very close. If they can bait out or kill Muffins, I was going to say, if they can kill Muffins, this is perfect. Now Chicken could go right in with this blade. Here comes a bomb, though, coming out upstairs, but it lands on the bridge. It's not going to get anyone down there. Ginger gets the res into Chrono. A Primal Rage coming out from Haplo. A bomb coming down from Hero. It lands just outside the pale, but no one's alive, really. Muffin's Rage now throwing down the Transcendence. Chicken has been waiting and waiting and waiting for this blade. Now throwing it down once the Transcendence has already been popped. Great patience. Dino picks up 2. Another Transcendence for good measure. Purple goes down, as does Rube. And this payload should finally ease its way in as the D.Va gets routed as well. Muffin's Rage also goes down. Still the defender's advantage, keeping the defense sustained, but it's not going to be enough. And then Yuri shutting down King, silencing him as the payload comes to a halt.
I tell you, Dino is bloodthirsty back here. He said, hey, man, you're trying to kill my team, I tell you what. That is some intimidating stuff coming from that in Zenyatta. That's really, really good play. It must be really, really good communication. Regardless of how long this team has been together, I can only assume that they've really practiced hard to get to the point of level to work on focus fire of the Discords. It's just really, really, really beautiful stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of coordination. I would say outside of just the stray D.Va bomb from downtown every once in a while, they've definitely been looking for specific situations, being patient and not just throwing ults and hitting their Qs, so having the Primal Rage ready for when they need the most sustain as possible, or have to keep the Winston alive, having the Transcendence as ready. And then we even saw Chicken right there holding and holding and holding as if he had a bunch of crypto, just holding as long as possible and then getting the blade out just in time once that Transcendence came down from Muffin's Rage. So we'll see. Now Pepsi, they have to deal with this 3 points on the board posted by Voltic. 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's not a huge mountain to climb here, but still somewhat significant advantage here for Voltic.
I always like to say that time bank is huge, nevertheless, because if the team does end up getting there, at least you'll get a solid attacking phase instead of a abysmal one,
It's nothing to scoff at, but
definitely not. But you're gonna end up seeing this offense come out here. I don't know if King's gonna stick along with his Doomfist. I mean, if he does, you all know the way that he's going to be going. We've seen it plenty of times on YouTube and Reddit.
Let's see if he pulls it off. I would love to see the Doomfist come out because I believe we saw
Flashy Pay.
1 or 2 of these players was just kind of deciding on the Doomfist or not, but ultimately didn't pick it. But it is King. It looks like, in fact, coming out here. Let's watch this Doomfist. There we go, onto the bridge. Oh, diving right in as the bubble on it. There's no one there. Oh, no, that sucks. And King.
Debated.
Yeah, disappointed. Has to fall back. Muffin Rage. Chicken getting that first blood and then forcing the res out from Felt Up. Trying to get rid of this D.Va mech is the Doomfist, and Hero does get popped out. Falling back, Rube does get the kill onto the mech though, but a lot of help from that Doomfist, and that's a big boon of having the Doomfist, just throwing up one big hitbox onto that one big D.Va mech hurt box. Purple though getting a nice missile kill.
They're going to be pressured into this very uncomfortable position here on Gibraltar defense. On the ground floor is not where you want to be, both as the Winston, the Soldier, and the D.Va. You're just going to see the Doomfist just pop in, get a kill, pop back out, force the res. It's going to be a continuous nature of just dive, kill, res, and just a slow movement push, along with a very focused dive.
Oh, and now Purple. King is just going off left and right, finding these squishy targets. Now going in, trying to get Chicken here below the bridge. Meanwhile, Rube has the visor, getting rid of the mech on Hero. Still in the server room, though, but does pick up the Baby Diva as he pops out the mech. Also finding Ginger with a right click. Muffin's Rage also getting on the board as well. Now just Hero has the Discord. He is going to get uppercutted. Shoryuken onto that mech. And then Purple getting
for good measure
on the Chicken.
You were dead either way, but I guess leaving the Zenyatta with only his health left is cool. As a support main, that hurt a little bit.
Hey,
Here comes the res from Felt Up. Oh, I felt it. But you can see just the amount of space that the Doomfist creates, all of that disruption along with the Winston ult coming through. Mercy's going to be able to have a free Valkyrie over here. They haven't even thought about popping Transcendence yet. Purple's going to have a free Diva Bomb here. See if it picks up anybody.
Oh,
it's going to be
the
huge.
quad! Oh.
Huge!
Yo, wow.
Oh, with the Diva mech for good measure too. That's a team wipe on the side of his Pepsi OK.
There
They still
it
have both
is.
support ults here, guys.
That is finally the big Papa Bomb that we needed from the Diva. Great job by Purple posting that up. Quad kill and then the 5th for good measure onto that mech. And that right now overshadows a little bit the work being done here by King as he jumps right in, gets back into our memories a little bit there with Yuri jumping right onto him, forces the res out, and unfortunately Hero unable to replicate a big bomb that he saw here from Purple, getting nothing off of that one. Another res, and in fact both visors coming down. Who gets the better one? It's Ruben Yuri, both trading for one, but the bullet board is getting posted entirely blue, and then King silencing Yuri on another uppercut. You were right earlier. Just a huge amount of space being created by King, not only in his ability to just scare people away, but also literally punching people around or stopping the momentum if they want to dive in. That's a huge utility of creating and establishing dominance in a certain area in this game.
And I'm not even entirely sure if Ginger has had a Valkyrie yet. If he did, he got killed off immediately with it. But I mean, Felt Up just having that early Valk to pop at the beginning of that fight to get the reses off early, the burst healing to keep King alive in that giant dive. It's just huge. He was able to stay alive getting... Oh, here comes pause.
Yep.
But what ended up happening, Felt Up ended up popping his Valkyrie, right? As Hero was throwing in the Diva Bomb to stall the point, he moved through the doors and stayed alive as Soldier 76 was being resurrected. There was nobody there to actually shoot at the ulting Mercy, staying alive in the enemy team. It was a feels bad, man.
This is definitely a feels bad man too. Not sure why Haplo has jumped out. We haven't heard from either team, but looking at these ultimates, both teams are evenly matched, at least in ultimate count, but we have both support ultimates here ready for Voltic. They're sitting on the Mercy and Zen ultimate respectively. King hasn't popped, I don't believe he's popped the Doomfist ultimate just yet. I haven't seen the Meteor Smash, but they don't really, again, they don't have another ultimate where they don't have a confirmation to it. Thankfully though, it's not a channeled ultimate, so it's not going to be a situation we saw earlier with the Pharah where we saw King just kind of sitting there and getting pulverized by Chicken as he came behind with his own barrage like we saw in Lijiang Tower. King will be able to pop that off pretty safely and has the Transcendence too, so that'll be able to usher the rest of the team into this, next fight. But of course, Dino's sitting on a Transcendence, Ginger sitting on a Valkyrie, and Chrono's getting pretty close to a Primal Rage as well. So
And that's the scary part of it, too. You can see on the side of Voltic, nevertheless, they just swapped over to McCree not too long ago, and that's one of the major key parts that you need against a Doomfist, regardless of a team composition. You need to keep healers alive, as you know he's just going to continuously jump in there and just shatter and stun your team, as either the Winston or himself will kill them off. It's a very scary experience.
Yeah, but then that puts a lot of pressure on Yuri to really, really play big here and getting those kills onto the Doomfist, because again, it's still, even though certainly the right decision, still can be risky because McCree another great dive target, and unless you're hitting those shots, you're essentially dead in the water. You need to be landing that burst damage, and especially on Doomfist, shouldn't be too hard. It's still a big body a little bit. He's not essentially a tank, but yeah, you're right. That's what that McCree's there for, just to get rid of the Doomfist when you have the opportunity, and also anyone trying to harass that back line. And
ult charge aside too, that's actually a very valid point. To go anti-Doomfist, I would almost think that you would need a Roadhog in that back line.
Roadhog makes sense too on this part of the map where he doesn't have to travel too far. It's not much of an investment. He can still hide in that back room, so he has a little bit of cover, and of course can use the payload as well. And against the Winston too, like at Doomfist, you have two characters who are going to be diving in here and there, and a great thing would be that hook. But here comes a Diva Bomb from downtown, not going to land onto anybody there from Hero. And King
King's gonna
again
kill off Dino.
obliterated Dino. Chicken now diving and trying to get Muffin's Ray. Does get the response. Voltignon is down. Chrono Dota getting found out there by Purple, and now a res from Muffin's Raid. Rube trying to silence Hero and does get the help with DMAC. Gets the kill, and now it's going to be that Baby Diva just sauntering around the point. Gets killed, and now Voltic needs to get onto this payload and stop it a little bit. They have the Transcendence right at the choke point, keeping the team alive a little bit. They have a Bastion now sitting at the choke
Just
at
so
that
they can make it
doorway.
out.
Yeah, they need
Wow.
something to get onto here.
I mean, the longer King stays alive, right, the more space is going to be created, the more ults that need to be wasted just to get out to stop the payload.
Oh,
Oh,
and
no!
Purple again from all the way to the moon and back, throwing a bomb down, getting Chrono Dota. Meanwhile, Rube taking care of Hero. Hero having a lot of trouble just staying in this mech for longer than they're going for right now, especially on defense. Need to be sustaining, not there to stay alive. And Pepsi okay? Coming alive finally, after being a little heavy-handed these past few games a little bit, kind of just Volta getting advantage, and now finally Pepsi okay. Not only getting the tie here in points, but posting a better time there by 2 minutes on Gibraltar. So good job by them.
A very, very fast dive, a very, very focused dive, if you will. I mean, when King more than likely was calling out on who he was seismic slamming, it was more or less over. He either had the Winston on top of that, or he had a Diva on top of that, and Diva with her micro missiles now is just a lot of burst damage. And if somebody's stunned like a Mercy or even the Zenyatta or say a Soldier, they're gonna go down immediately from the seismic punch and the micro missiles. It's just a very, very fast combo. And as we know, they very, very much so love their dive, as Pepsi OK does. As we move over here to Horizon Colony.
Yeah, I guess we are really going to the moon this time, so I'm okay with
Yay!
that. I love it. I love it. This is one of those 2 CP maps. I feel like initially when it came out, just everyone had like the worst reaction to it. But I feel like it's grown on people. I don't hear too much complaining about this map anymore. But I feel like it's kind of the nature of 2 CP. You kind of just get like numbed out by it. It doesn't even like you have to play it, so you might as well just deal with it. It's 2 CP, but this is a map that is created, multiple different dynamic situations where we're not just running straight up dive. I was about to say that Orisa is a character that comes out very often on this map, and Haplo is resting on that. Muffin's Rage even sitting on a Torb. So I would say Orisa and Roadhog is a pretty common pick on this map. Just sitting behind that barrier, but throwing down the Torb, a little more of an investment, definitely risky, because once that builder goes down, you've just lost. That's such a huge liability there. It doesn't have anything up. He goes down early. Diveable target a little bit, if the turret's not protecting him, slow, big kind of like chunky hitbox, can get hit by long range. So like you got to be careful always having that barrier up. So it's gonna be very important to keep Haplo alive as well. Whereas Voltic, they're not changing things up too much, but they are throwing down the Zarya Diva combination. What do you think about that?
What's pretty interesting about both these teams coming out is that I think Voltic immediately knows they're going to be running into some sort of spam, some sort of cheese, if you will.
Mhm.
And the Zarya Diva is just an immediate counter to that. Winston, if he dives into anything too spammy, he's going to get killed off immediately. His barrier's almost not going to mean much. But it looks like they're going to go out with their patent with Chrono on Winston instead. It's going to be interesting how they have to deal with this Torb turret.
Yeah, like you're saying, Winston could have a lot of issues going on here. Maybe Zarya would have better pick, but Zarya can't, dive with the rest of the team, kind of immobile, so might have been not the trade-up they were looking for. And right now, Voltic just waiting and waiting around. They're going to get a little bit of scouting in here as they sit around on this corner. Now going to shuffle towards the right, and it's Winston jumping right in. It's Chrono Dota with Hero and Dino as Rube picking up Chrono. You were right, pretty much calling it out. Chrono dove right in, gets melted, and now the rest of the team kind of left to their own accord here. But Chicken and Ginger making the most of it, getting a bunch of kills and taking out Haplo, which is a big target. Of course, Felta was waiting for the res on that one. Muffin's Rage does get the DMAC onto Hero, and they still have this foundational pick here of Orisa and Torbjorn staying alive very often, keeping the resurrections available for those two specifically. So, the longer they have those two characters up, the chunkier their composition can remain throughout these fights. And the longer they do that, the longer these fights are going to be, which is going to be great for the defending team.
You must like me.
Oh, King not taking any time there to get rid of Yuri, gets a headshot. And, Dino might be called for a pause there. There we go. So I think Dino saw a really sick snipe from King and was like, whoa, Gotta write that one down. But it seems like some ping issues here from Dino.
let me check these BIOS real quick. See for any hacks, my man. It's pretty interesting. I mean, one of the more beautiful parts about these new maps coming out for Overwatch, I've noticed is that they pander into a lot of heroes that don't get a lot of playtime, don't get a lot of love. So these map variants, if you will, now with Torbjorn and Orisa, able to just continuously command the high ground, and then when they feel under pressure, not to keep the turret alive, but to then take command of the point instead, is very, very huge. And a lot of teams are moving forward with it because Mercy and Widowmaker are so strong right now.
Yeah, you want to have those barriers up, and I think this was before the game too. We were talking about how Reinhardt has fallen out of favor, and Orisa has moved into that main tank position for those very reasons, but also can deal a little bit better with getting flanked hard. Reinhardt just such an easily pulse bombable target. It's like he can be such a liability when you're running against good Tracer. Like I would be very afraid to run a Reinhardt up against Yuri or Ruben. They've just been landing pulse bombs left and right. And now a rush out here from Voltic again, moving towards this right side, go up to the upper right room, and they're moving right towards this Orisa and Torbjorn combination. And Rube though landing a double pulse bomb onto Dino and Chicken. That's immediately the end of this push. They have to just push off that. They don't even. Pepsi isn't even worried about Yuri on the point, getting her a little bit of coverage. Doesn't matter. They've won this fight easily.
He's
Yuri's
gonna
still
kill
alive,
Phelps up though, along with the pulse
big.
bomb.
Yeah, so
That's
that
a
might
pretty good
actually that could give them a little bit of an edge if they can get back to this next fight very quickly. But King getting rid of Yuri and then Muffin's Rage, taking out Dino, as I believe Dino was looking for a resurrection there. Unfortunate. Now again, Voltic having to reset.
Yeah, that's gonna give Felt up just more than enough time to get leashed along back to point, as Mercy does have that beautiful flying ability with her beautiful wings.
They are pretty beautiful, I agree with that.
Majestic they are. The one thing to note on this is the ult advantage still swinging heavy in the favor, but Muffin Rage is going to fall off early, so he can't pop that Molten Core. He's going to wait until he has to be respawned.
Oh, Purple getting right in there with the D-Mech, and Hero also sticking on a bomb, but that mech from Purple didn't really get too much in there, but still keeping the rest of the offense just back away from the back line. Rube going in and finding Dino. Big stagger there. They might also be able to get this Junkrat, and it is a bunch of body shots coming out from King to do the job. And that's going to be prolonging this next fight again, as Voltic now have just a minute on the clock. They're probably only 1 or 2 good, clean fights remaining for them, but they do have a bunch of ultimates ready for that, and Chrono's pretty close to this. Actually, everyone's pretty close. They might have full 6 bank here when they go into this next fight.
It's almost what you need in a composition like this, Rapture. I mean, it's really scary to see this from our perspective. Every time that Voltic gets close to the point, one ultimate gets popped on the side of his Pepsi. Okay, here comes the bongos to answer Hero along with the self-destruct. We'll pick up the bongos itself, but the Molten Core is just too much.
Oh, Dino gets the res onto Hero. Yuri picking out Purple. Oh, and Haplo does finally go down. And everyone's essentially out for the count here. Torb's not going to have anything to hide behind now. Haplo does get res though. The double res coming out here from Felta with the help of that Valkyrie. Necessary to keep Haplo into this fight. King picking off Ginger. And now in the back line, Muffin having to deal with this Tracer. Is Yuri going to be able to get a kill off in time? But Chicken trying to pick up a little bit of slack. Gets rid of the turret and King respectively. Haplo still alive, getting pocketed here. Trying to stay alive as long as possible behind this barrier. Gets pulse bomb. Gets knocked out. And just as overtime gets kicked off, it will be Voltic barely getting the completion. They'll move on to point B.
Just finally answering with all 6 ultimates used in favor of Voltic. They will take command at this point through overtime. As you see Muffin's Rage finally moving over to that Zenyatta for the second support pick to help out a little bit more heals. Purple's going to be close along to this self-destruct as well to hopefully stop this snowball in place. Hero's finally going to get his mech back to start this dive, and we will commence on this fight.
Yeah, King is now on the 76. As we stated earlier, a diveable target, but not easy to dive onto him as he sits on the back line of this particular part of the map. But still, he doesn't really have so many great options on the high ground, so he has to pick and choose his battles here. He's still staying back as far as possible, doesn't want to immediately engage. As the rest of Voltic, now they've rotated back out into the observatory room, and Yuri picking up Muffin's Rage. That's going to cue the rest of the team to go in on here. And now Purple trying to respond, throwing a bomb in, immediately funneling the rest of the team onto the point. Chronododo picking up Felt up. Purple gets demeched, and then killing Ginger on his way out with the headshot on the Baby Diva. And now Valkyrie throwing out a ton of damage boost and healing from upstairs. Ginger picking up Muffin's Rage. This could be exactly what Voltic needs. They have to get rid of Rube, though, as he's getting dove upon on there by Chicken. Now the visor coming down from King. Makona and Hero are right in his face, and King does get obliterated by Hero. Sent to the Shadow Realm, and now Valkyrie still upstairs from Felt Up, keeping the rest of the team. He doesn't realize Dino's up there too as he's shooting up below. It actually doesn't pick up the kill there. Dino does get the res on the Ginger, and now Hero getting trying to stay alive here as long as possible in this mech. Unfortunately, his counterpart unable to do so. Purple does get demech. Trying to get back into this and build up as many response as possible. Does take out Purple though, so both trades on those mechs. Haplo gets rid of Dino. Each team really unable to get a complete footing here. Just absolute chaos on the point, but the kill feed is going blue for Pepsi OK, and they certainly need it. Voltic, 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the board. That should be enough. Rube getting 2 kills at the end.
To back off here.
Yeah,
I mean, they got a tick and a half here, and they should be very, very happy along with that, as that still was technically their push off of the overtime for first. It's still interesting, nevertheless, how quick they actually got the respawn favor coming in favor for Pepsi OK, as they're getting close to their ultimates as well, with King getting close to that Dragon Blade. We've seen him pop off lately, and Rage having that Transcendence to answer along for one of the DPS ultimates coming along, but King's gonna get picked off early.
Yeah, and King had moved over to that Genji. Unfortunate loss there too. I think he might forego some charge there as well. Now Transcendence coming out from Muffin's Rage. Can't keep Hero alive, but the bomb is gonna come out. I'm sorry, Hero's gonna actually come out, and he's going to be unable to do anything against that Transcendence. Another bomb coming out. That's not going to connect on anybody. Rube gets rid of Chrono Dota. A Pulse Bomb. That's not going to be a complete stick there and not going to land a kill, but Rube not really worried about it. Yuri does get the DMAC from that stick, though. That could be enough. That's the kill on the Muffin's Rage as well. Now it's Haplo hiding behind in the bubble, trying to look for anyone to jump onto. It does find Yuri, but overshoots it just a little bit. Does get Hero out of the mech with the help of King. And now hiding behind this pillar, another dive, trying to get chase down this Mercy as King picks up another kill onto Yuri. On the point, they're just very, very, very close to the second tick. But again, Voltic has to back up just a little bit. They might get staggered a little bit here. Hero should be able to get back into mech in time, does so. And now 60 seconds left in the clock.
Very lucky to get that mech and not to get staggered as well. That extra 10 seconds is actually huge here for Horizon Lunar Colony. That walk is huge. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm just kidding. They have a Lucio. Sound Bear is going to come through. Rube's on a mad flank to get that stick. He doesn't find anybody with it, but Valkyrie's going to get popped just to claim instead. King's popping the Dragon Blade for good measure. Will fall as well.
Man, so important for them to get... Oh, Yuri getting a nice kill on the purple as he gets D-Mech. So important for them to keep Chicken alive because he has the visor. Now he pops. He's not on the high ground. He's not going to get too much advantage off it. And King's right in his face, as well as Haplo. There's no good targets for him to take down. But the rest of the team is distracted. He peeled off both those two high-priority targets. And now Haplo essentially wasting his Primal Rage just to save possibly only one kill on the visor. King does get a kill onto Dino. Purple looking for Hero to try and DMech him. They've got surpassed that second tick mark, but Voltic needs more than that. Felt up getting a kill onto Chrono Dota, but a response from Ginger onto the DMech from Purple. Hero also going down. No mechs alive, no mechs available. That's going to be it for Voltic. They've come so close, but it wasn't enough. Only 1 point and 2 ticks. And now it is up to Pepsi OK. They're going to have a full opportunity here to win this map.
And Muffin doing what Muffin does best too. All the way until the time meter hit 0-0, he still had that Transcendence in his back pocket, just in case he needed it. He did fall early, but just in case they needed the Transcendence to claim back the point, burst healing, it was there. And that's very good patience and just very, very good discipline on the side of his Pepsi OK.
Looks like we're going to go back so we can
get
a full push. Yeah, we want that map reset, playing a scrim. So you
fresh playtime.
Fresh. You want that fresh, clean slate. You know, refresh the palette. You know, you gotta cleanse it a little bit. You know, have a little bit of some greens.
Fresh paint, boys.
Some, some fresh. I'm not trying to cleanse my palette with some paint. Maybe you can do that, but
oh, true.
I'm not trying to do. Oh, unless you got some tasty paint, then I'll change my mind. All right, so yeah, back on the Horizon Lunar Colony here. Is Pepsi OK? So we did reset the maps. They will have an opportunity to go for a complete hold here, but remember, Voltic did get just about 2 ticks and then 1 point on point A. So they did get very, very close, but not enough. And they made some pretty good changes to try and help that along. They did have they had Chicken moving over to the 76 a little bit, trying to get that high ground advantage once the rest of the team pushed onto the point, even though he wasn't able to take advantage of that for that late visor. And by the way, we do have a team color switch here. We now have Voltic in the blue, and we have Is Pepsi OK in the red. So as they go for this offensive push as the first attempt here, They're going to be sticking with a pretty similar composition, except they have a Sombra and a Moira. So they've switched over one of their supports over to Moira, and then also foregoing another, more traditional DPS pick for the Sombra. So they're going to certainly look to just build up that EMP as soon as possible, probably anticipating this Orisa, which Chrono Dota is sitting on. And this is what I was talking about earlier. They have Chrono Dota as well as Hero going for the Orisa and Roadhog respectively. So instead of committing to the Torb, which I think is a much more riskier investment, they're going for Hog, which is, I think, a lot more reliable.
It's a very, very standard idea,
Yeah.
To keep it standard here for the defense for Voltic's sake is a smart move. If this was a legitimate game, as they had to hold a tick and a half on the second, this is smart so they can gain the proper amount of ult control. But with that Sombra coming through and the Moira, there's going to be a lot of healing shut down, but not with Felt Up dying as early as he just got hooked.
I love that Hog is, back in the meta to some degree, moving around. As little buffs he got him back into it. And having that burst potential with the hook is really big as the rest of the team is trying to jockey their way onto the point. Another hook does get whiffed though, but Winston's certainly going to be a topic of contention for him to hook onto, especially when that bubble's on cooldown or broken. But meanwhile, the rest of this offense kind of jockeying outside the position, outside the point. 3 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock. Purple diving in and loses the mech for their trouble. Haplo's going to try and get out. They realize they're going to get the hell out of dodge there. Now the entirety of Voltic looking pretty on this point. Another hook being landed by Hero, and he gets rid of Purple. That's a sting there for his Pepsi OKs. They're still having trouble getting out of this room. They might get staggered more here. Just the Lucio and the Winston, and Haplo does go down. Hero picking him up. Hero is doing a lot of work on this Roadhog here. Just absolute huge value.
That is the biggest DPS hero in the game, don't you all know? I mean, and one of the scarier parts versus the composition of Moira, Lucio, and Sombra is that you need to rely on that health pack, and all 6 of your members can't rely on that one health pack as Roadhog is just spraying into you in that very close encounter. They don't have enough damage to just even deal with it. They can't play into the health pack rooms with the Junkrat Roadhog.
And so much of the team is squishy too, or just a really good hook option for them to go onto. Yuri, though, silencing King and gets a pulse bomb onto him. And King is sitting on an EMP. That's definitely going to stop things just a little bit in terms of this momentum for the offensive push. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be stopping Voltic for pushing up and trying to get the rest of these stragglers out. Muffin's Rage isn't going to be able to get out with their life either. Great stagger there. And now resetting is Pepsi okay. Yeah, it is Pepsi okay in the red. Now back to 2 minutes on this push. They are sitting on the AMP though and Coalescence. Those are going to be the great ultimates for them to just usher the team onto the point. They're going to be looking for those.
The safety picks of Voltic Esports too, with their ult advantage coming in handy. Chicken popped that Riptire and it pushed everybody into that small room. Just enough space for everybody to gain full advantage.
Ooh, and there's the EMP, but the King popped it a little too early. No one was there immediately to pick up some kills. And Hero, again, getting rid of Haplo as he was just trying to chase down a kill, trying to make the most out of that EMP and gets punished for it. Muffin's Rage just can pick up a Coalescence kill, but of course Dino's waiting with the res, and now the missiles coming up from Purple would immediately shut down and demech'd Hero with that. And then another hook. Oh, it doesn't even need to do much there. Chicken picks up the kill on that concussive mine onto Rube. Yuri getting the headshot. Ginger getting one on the board for good measure. Muffins again should... Oh, I forgot that Muffins can just kind of phase out. No big deal, but still... A lot of time wasted here again here for Is Pepsi okay? Now a minute left on the board. They haven't really figured out a way to break this defense, to get rid of Hero, who's just constantly hooking their most squishiest members.
And they're going to have a couple ults to answer this as well. Both teams, in fact, with the Sound Barrier and along with the Primal Rage. But Yuri's going to have that famous Pulse Bomb that he loves to use. Chicken with a Riptire online soon. And Ginger keeping that Sound Barrier in his pocket. They're going to have the right ults to probably hold this here. It's going to be interesting to see how they can use this Primal Rage to see if they can claim the point.
And Chicken's absolutely going to be looking for a Riptire once the entirety of Pepsi OK jumps onto the point, because they're going to be pretty occupied to deal with that. A Diva Bomb coming down here from Purple, not going to connect, but it should be an opportunity for them to go right in. And indeed, King gets a kill on Hero. That's a really, really huge pick to start this fight out. But immediately the return fire from Voltic, they pick up 2, getting rid of the 2 DPS players. Purple and Haplo getting onto the board as well, and each team trading pretty evenly. But Voltic holding hard here. Is Pepsi okay? I'm sorry, getting a bunch of kills here. Voltic falling apart. That team color switch. So, come on, Blizzard. Either way, they just in time, just as we saw last map, the attackers getting point A in overtime, and then we should see the rest of this initial overtime push feed into the rest of the point. But the defense is essentially set up here, so they're not going to get too much of it. Chicken is sitting on the Reptire too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate he wasn't able to pull that off right before the team fight ended last time, but he's going to start the team fight this time with it, see if he can get a couple picks of it. He's going to get spotted with it.
And Yuri's still harassing
He's going to get the mech for his trouble.
Yeah,
oh, no, he's going to leave the mech.
No, he's not. I don't think he got anything off that. So
No, he
that's
did not?
unfortunate for Chicken.
Oh, because
And
he
he's
wanted to swap.
he wanted to switch away to 76. So again, moving over to that defensive long-range hit scan pick of 76, but another diveable. So that's still keeping the team pretty squishy. But that's a problem that is Pepsi OK has had for the majority of this fight too. We also see, of course, Hero switch over from the Roadhog back to the Diva. They need that extra verticality as most of this team is going to be pushing up on the high ground. We do have a pause coming out. I see this time. I didn't see what happened. So it is. Our guess is as good as ours. So. No idea.
Very interesting. But here we are, nevertheless. I mean, I think Voltic does have the right positioning to do this, but Chrono Dota did get picked off here in the get-go, so this is going to be very, very interesting. Dino's probably going to have to pop his Valkyrie as it's coming online here.
That's just been a problem. Chrono Dota kind of going in a little early, getting melted, and having nothing to show for it. We saw Haplo having a little bit of trouble at times too, but both of these Winstons, unfortunately, either not being protected or kind of just going a little too early. We even saw from the EMP earlier a little bit of mistiming as the EMP came out a little too early, and then the Winston diving in, just trying to make the most of it, trying to salvage the EMP, and also getting killed. So just very, very small changes to timing here could really pay off for both of these teams. And now we're coming out of the unpause, so again, is Pepsi OK? In the red, 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the board. They're going to push right in, even though Chrono's like, no, don't push. And they're going to try and make the most of this. They've already pushed the rest of this blue team back into this back quarter here and now trying to get some foothold onto the point as the Trent Stance comes out from Muffin.
And then, like I said, the Voltic with Dino, he popped that Valkyrie immediately to bring back up Winston Chrono Dota back on point, but the brawl that's going back and forth for this should favor the defensive team here as Respawns. That zoning mode and Rube himself doing a lot of work back there, creating all the kills that they need. Resurrect coming through onto King. Chicken's gonna kill himself with the Helix Rock because that's a very unfortunate feel.
But not unfortunate for is Pepsi OK. Is Dino gonna be able to do it by themselves? Oh, Hero unfortunately getting DMEC before he gets onto the point, and then missile barraged by Purple. That's gonna be it. Is Pepsi OK gonna complete the map entirely? Remember, Voltic only getting 1 point and 2 ticks, so good job here by Is Pepsi OK getting that map victory and getting the full completion.
You could just see all the space continuously being created by man, it's Pepsi. Sorry, forget. Color change was messing with me too. It's Pepsi just
right.
Space just to get the frags that they needed there, just to continue enough pressure to where Dino was already popped onto Mercy ult. And that was just enough. They answered with the Transcendence and more than their like swim.
You see here on Voltic, switching out Chrono Dota back for Matman. Matman was in just one map. He just played Lijiang Tower, and then he was swapped out. So we'll see what they go to here. If we go to more maps, which looks like we are, I doubt we're gonna be sticking close to this open division rule set entirely, since the only map left technically is another control for a tiebreaker, which I don't think that's happening. So might just be going to another map entirely. Not entirely sure. Thank you all for sticking with us. I think this has been a really great set of Overwatch. Both teams have been. I was expecting this to be maybe a little more of a shelling on the side of his Pepsi OK, but Voltic really putting in the work and making this a very competitive set, and both teams playing really well.
Oh, we're back to Kings.
Nice Kings Row. I like to see that. Nice. It's not really a set of Overwatch if you don't go to Kings Row at least twice. So we still have criteria to meet. But we got our one in so far. So Kings Row going to be up on the board. This is again another map where you got a lot of different dynamic team composition opportunities. Dive still flourishes, but also compositions involving Zarya, Reinhardt, Orisa, Roadhog, Reinhardt Diva can still work out very well on this map, and then characters like Junkrat getting in, even sometimes May, depending on part of the map. So McCree can be seen. So this is a map that really gives a lot more options in terms of team composition. So I'm glad we're going on to it.
Both teams, it seems, favoring their dive compositions, favoring their Winston players, if you will. Now with Batman coming over here for the swaps, we're going to see if this team, both these teams rather, want to end up playing this close range, like I said, or long range, as Kings Row these days is typically played out with the Widowmaker, McCree, or something like that, along with Fizz.
Yeah.
Giving you enough pressure in the back line.
Yeah, McCree with the, or I'm sorry, Widowmaker's really found like a nice little spot for herself in this meta. We're seeing a lot more Widowmaker, and that was kind of touched upon earlier, like last year, where teams are experimenting more with like dive composition, throwing Widowmaker on, or even like triple DPS compositions with the Widowmaker. Though more likely they'd go for like a Genji and a Widowmaker, or a Pharah, or a Tracer and a Widowmaker, just putting on pressure for any body shots. So when the Winston dives in on a Discord target, like they're already at half health, or a Genji trying to harass someone on the high ground, Widowmaker can get up some really good shots on there too with long range sight lines. So Widowmaker has definitely made a point for herself on multiple compositions. But of course, King's Row, especially to start out on the map, it's very common, of course, to see Widowmaker just peeking out a little bit, looking for a pick here and there to get things going and steamroll towards point A completion.
Defensively as well, almost especially. I mean, it's typical, especially in in your queue matches, you'll see that Widowmaker playing in that back towards the mega pack so she can stay nice and healed up. But on attack, more or less, especially peeking over top of that that bell tower onto the first Widow's Peak on the first left side. But I always thought Widowmaker was a must-have, especially on King's Row for its opened landscape on first. For the Mercy ult, that it's very, very necessary. If you can take the Mercy out of her Valk form, that's almost a guaranteed win right there. It's a very big hassle.
And you're talking defensive too. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw out possibly a Widowmaker from King on the last phase of this map towards the end there. I would force the D.Va and the Winston to pay more attention and leave the back line more often, which could be a great opportunity for Rube to harass that back line. But we're on point A right now. Haven't gotten that far just yet. Moving up forward, this is again, is Pepsi okay? Is back on the blue side, thankfully. So we have Voltic in the red. They're going to be going off first. And Matman with a snipe from that fire strike, getting rid of Haplo. That's going to curry their favor. The rest of this team to move on to the point, but a charge pebbled up from Haplo, forcing the rest of the team back behind the statue. We still have Chicken on this Hanzo, unable to get too many crucial picks, if any at all. And now this has essentially been shut down with the help of Muffin's Rage and Purple. A charge onto Purple, but he gets bubbled up by himself. Matman can't confirm on that kill. And in fact, does have the Discord on him, and the shield goes down. Rube gets the kill. It's a big stagger here, and Chicken going down as well. Voltic not really sure, know when to quit, essentially, and now losing a bunch of time here.
The Haplo almost had to be a little bit careful there how far he wanted to go on that flank with the Reinhardt.
Sometimes you gotta be creative, though. You have to be. You gotta go for it.
I mean, when you've been playing Winston and Orisa all day, you want your damage to go far, and you only have that cleave damage to benefit from. But he already built up that Earth Shatter. He's gonna be looking for it here pretty early.
Ooh, Chicken, though, getting the kills he need. Gets a scatter out, and then the Earth Shatter coming down, puts Matman on his back. Unfortunately, Haplo can't really capitalize on anything going on in that situation. Gets put down for the count. A Graviton coming down here from Purple, but there's no one to capitalize on. A huge waste. Could have been nice to have for this next point of the map, but unfortunately gets thrown down for nothing. This should be a full completion here for Voltic. Unless we still see King, though, flanking from behind. Might be able to tag it in time, but he's going all the way around. I'm not sure why he's going around so far. He's not going to be able to get there in time to tag it, because by the time he gets there, Matman's waiting with the fire strike and goes down immediately. So Voltic does get the capture.
And Feltop was also very, very close to follow as well. It's unfortunate to see your Mercy and your Soldier both get close far spawns like that, because you can see how Voltic wants to play this now. They know that they're down 2 members, especially one being the Mercy. They can play a little bit more aggressive and claim all the space as Yuri pulls out this Riptire to see if he can get 1 or 2. Doesn't get anybody. The damage has been done because Mercy's not there to burst heal everybody. And try to get the Resurrect off. The grab's just going to keep them all in place along with Mercy, and just more kills coming in favor of Voltic. This is not looking good.
Yeah, and the kills are coming to them too. Haplo charged right in, dies. King jumped right down, died. I mean, essentially it was over for King at that point too. They're gonna now push up, but yeah, kills are coming to them. There are a huge contrast between the grab coming out from Hero, which is a cleanup, versus Purple, who kind of just threw it down haphazardly. And in fact, we've seen a bunch of times Pepsi kind of using an ultimate or like staggering for almost no reason here and just losing more time than they need. And this payload has come all the way through the second phase of King's Row without any problem whatsoever. Chicken throwing down the dragon, that's going to create a bunch of room, as well as combining with an Earth Shatter that forces out the Transcendence there from Muffin's Rage. Nice patience there, but not able to get anything, or at least keep his team alive though. Rube does get the kill onto the pulse bomb. Purple picks up on to Matman. Both teams trading evenly, but it looks like this is still going entirely blue here for the side. Is Pepsi okay?
Beautiful light show.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's Christmas. It's all Christmas again, man. Seeing all these lights.
Wait, no. We're on the normal map. It's not Christmas time. It's okay.
That is true, but I'm still in the Christmas spirit. I guess it's Happy
All
New
right.
Year. We're
I'm
close to
still in the
Lunar
Christmas
New
spirit, it's
Year.
fine.
I'm definitely.
You're
still
the
in the Christmas
Doge.
spirit.
You're the Doge, everybody. But you can see all the kills coming through for his Pepsi OK. That Transcendence was huge, keeping everybody nice and healthy, so that way Purple was able to push through, get a far enough Graviton to keep the people further off the point for Voltic, get a few kills while he was at it.
And now things have come to a little bit of a halt here in the mid part. Matman throwing down a Fire Strike, looking up to build this Earth Shatter, very close to it. And now Haplo swinging away. He has to be careful. His Earth Shatter's waiting, and he doesn't have the shield up. Gets bodied for it. You can't be doing that. Felt Up does have the res waiting. Dino throwing down 2, though. Big kills from the Zenyatta. We've seen it all set, and certainly more coming out from Dino's Zenyatta. And this all started from Haplo. They're just kind of like swinging around with this hammer for absolutely no reason. They eat an Earth Shatter for it.
Here, all while the fact of Hero just getting a nice Graviton Surge to claim the point, gathering everybody on the side of his Pepsi, nice and close together. But it's like you said, I mean, Haplo just getting feeling himself a little bit too much, it would seem, just swinging that hammer freely.
Another Dragon coming out. Now it's Matman swinging his hammer away freely. Does get the kill on the Haplo. Even though Haplo picked up Chicken just before he went down. Another Graviton being popped, but there's no one there for Purple to capitalize on. And Purple just really hasn't gotten anything out of these Gravitons, unfortunately. Muffin, unfortunately, also getting removed from the server. So that's going to evoke another pause. What is that, the 5th or 6th pause?
It has to
tonight?
be at least the 6, maybe 7.
These guys are playing like some other game where they're trying to get as many pauses as possible, and I don't know what game they're playing here or what money's on the line, but someone's
it's the
winning.
Pause jar. You get a gold coin every time you.
It's like at the end of it's like at the end of Mario Party where like whoever lands on like the most green spots gets an extra star. Someone here is trying to get a power star by most pauses in a game, and I'm pretty sure it's even Muffins or who else? Who else is winning in this game? It's definitely Muffins or Haplo that are absolutely winning in that.
Chrono was also on.
Chrono as well.
He was racking them up as well, but he wanted to pass the torch. It seems to Muffins.
Well, that's interesting because in Mario Party you don't make friends. You're always ruining friendships.
That's how every Mario Kart race starts as well. You know, you want to be best friends with that Yoshi character, but man, is that not a smile? That is an evil grin, my friend. You better watch yourself, Luigi.
Hey man, I use Yoshi, so you better watch out. That's fighting words right there, my man.
I made Mario in every single Mario game.
You have a Mario Kart main? Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like how
it.
everybody always asks you, they're just like, so who do you play in Mario Party? Oh, I play Mario. Well, who you play in Smash Bros? Oh, I play Mario.
Oh, yeah, you're a franchise guy.
I like
sticking with it.
I like the neutrality that he offers in every game he plays.
And let's see if we get neutrality of the rest of this fight, because it's kind of just gonna happen without anyone getting on there, despite the
Muffin
pause.
had that trance, he doesn't anymore.
Oh, true. Yeah, no Transcendence waiting for that, and once
That's a
Haplo
good
goes
point.
down, that's pretty much the end of the map already. Unfortunately, there for Pepsi okay. Oh, and Matman just
Making sure he
squishing.
knows.
Yeah.
UGC!
Show him who's boss. So now we have. It is up to Voltic Esports. They're going to be going on their offensive. Or sorry, is Pepsi okay? It'll be their attempt now. Voltic Esports. 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the board. You know, getting a little bit of help from that pause, but you know, who's the judge here?
I mean, the old favor, like we even mentioned too. I mean, I don't know how King thought that soldier sprint of his life was worth it, but it baited Felt Up to dash up in there into the point as it was literally 98 or 99% captured, and it just gave Matman and all of his team just more than enough space to forward with it. It's just a very scary experience.
Yeah, it didn't seem like It's Pepe Okay really had a solid game plan for what they wanted to do on defense. They kind of just hung around and waited for the fight to come to them, which isn't the worst strategy, but when you're playing very reactionary, you can limit yourself or be surprised, and you want to kind of usually kill the momentum before they come to you, shut them down before they come to you, and Unfortunately,
Right.
they didn't have many ults built up to do that, so it was really more of a positioning thing. And so it was very interesting to, or kind of confusing to see why he was so out of position there, and then get staggered. But we'll see if we get a much better shape up here. So is Pepsi okay now on their offensive attempt in about 15 seconds? We do see Rube on that Widowmaker upstairs. Absolutely going to be looking for a pick. But interestingly enough, I was going to say Haplo was sitting on the Orisa, which doesn't really complement too mellow with the rest of this dive composition, but he has moved back over to the Winston. Purple still on the Diva. Things have stayed relatively the same for both of these teams. Let's see how they push out.
It's going to be interesting to see how this defensive team is setting up. A lot of team members on the high ground. Zenyatta is being protected by Soldier. Yuri playing that, and Dino on Padden and Zenyatta. We give them a little bit of space here to let them intro into the point here, play around the statue side as dive will come through. Haplo's going to try to take command of this high ground, be met by Soldier.
Yeah, they want to have some breathing room here. They want to have room for their Junkrat to sit back, get some shots on, as well as their Zarya. They don't want the Zarya to get bodied and lose that charge. They don't want the 76 to get dove on. So yeah, moving back into that back corner is pretty well. And look at that, they're rotating all the way back around. They lost Chicken though, but they get the trade. And what a great rotation here from Voltic Esports, getting out and just holding position, keeping as much real estate between them and the other team as possible. And it's benefiting them perfectly. They've also let King essentially just sit up there and twiddle his thumbs up on window and not really getting too much there. So by the time the rest of this team has been cleaned up, he's essentially just sitting there by himself. But they have to deal with it eventually. He does get a nice right click, onto Chicken. And now the offense getting a little bit of momentum back onto this fight. The defense does have to fall back here, unfortunately for Voltic.
Wow.
The rotation worked out, but they weren't able to hold on for too long as King does route out Yuri, forcing the rest of this clump back, and that's going to be the end of Voltic on point A.
And that was all just pretty interesting. King just hanging out up top, unanswered. Just nobody wanted to go up there and just deal with him. He just sprinted up there and just hung out up there. I mean, once your tanks take command of an area and you just let yourself sit up there as a hit scan, it's just free reign. But you can see King falling early to that early flank that he wanted to do. Muffin's gonna end up having a DC again.
Ooh. Yeah, he really wants that pause record here. He's looking for it. Yeah, you're right. King just went up there, just no one contesting him, and also realizing the fact that there's no Diva to go up there. There's no Winston to go up there and take him out. Like, it's not like Reinhardt or Zarya can just spring into the air and jump up into the window and get rid of the 76. So, like I was saying, the rotation was great from Voltic, but you can't take too long. You do have to, especially on defense on point A of King's Row, like, you can't be like getting too nonchalant with allowing the other team to move around and stay alive for too long. Even though you want longer fights as being the tankier kind of composition, the more death volley composition, there's still a threshold of how long you want the fight to go. And eventually with the offensive spawn advantage there is a threshold eventually where if you're not getting kills quick enough, the offense is going to replenish their resources way quicker than you are. And we saw that happen especially when King was up there unabated, no one to deal with him. But yeah, so that'll be a completion there from Is Pepsi okay, and is Muffin's Rage connection okay? That's what we really need to know.
Yeah, it's gonna start playing a huge dagger into the side of this match. I mean, he's always leaving his team behind a little bit as it seems, but the dive from Is Pepsi okay is still coming through very strong.
Yuri throwing down that visor. Haplo just diving in and just donating his body to science there. Now that's gonna be another reset here. For Is Pepsi okay? They've lost that momentum on that they've gotten from point A. They're now setting up. They're setting on again 2 support ultimates here. They'll have the Valkyrie as well as the Transcendence, so they're going to be waiting for that visor to pop up, I'm sure. But Rube is definitely going to be looking for a pulse bomb when he gets to it to land onto Dino, so you might want to wait and hold that Transcendence for that. Meanwhile, Ginger gets placated there as he's holding onto the Transcendence. So that should be the cue for the rest of the team to jump on in. In fact, they do. A Transcendence coming out from Dino. He's not going to wait too much longer. It does in fact pop it. No one really getting too many hard shots onto him, so it might have been a little bit of an odd timing there because the visor now waited and comes out, but he's being forced into a corner by Chicken's Riptire, and he gets obliterated by it. Chicken finding him in the corner, gets the kill, and now this is going to continue to move forward, but the defense does finally get a foothold onto the payload with the help of that Riptire, and here comes a bomb from upstairs. Getting connection, not going to be anything.
They're baiting out one by one from Miss Pepsi. Okay, here comes the Valkyrie, and it was unfortunate that Haplo had to be pulled. Oh, that's a nice Graviton Surge, catching Mercy up inside of it while she was in Valk form. That's going to be that push right there, held to a halt. But Haplo, when he jumped up to that window to start the initiation, he got trapped and had to pull out his Primal Rage just for survivability, and they all had to initiate off of that. and immediately is Pepsi OK losing both the ult advantage, it seems, but the kills are coming through, and they're wanting to take command of card, it seems, as they do have the mana advantage.
They do have the mana advantage, but Madman has the Earth Shatter advantage. Haplo has to be careful because the bubble goes down, and that's a 4-man Fatty Daddy. Huge Earth Shatter. Oh man, and Madman was just waiting in the wings, praying, and then strikes like a cobra for a 4-man Earth Shatter. That's huge. And that's going to completely shut things down here. 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the board.
That shatter was just well calculated, very patient, and especially on the side of his Pepsi OK. Once you know the bubble is up out of the way, and they're all just hanging around on cart, if they're about 7-8 meters above, it doesn't matter. You're all going to be taking a seat.
Yeah, unfortunately for Haplo, he kind of just got a little. He got a little too antsy and just threw down the bubble immediately. And now again, throwing down the bubble immediately and not having it ready for the grab. Though eventually everyone stays alive. Another Earth Shatter. Madman has built up one in less than 30 seconds. Gets one, but unfortunately the Transcendence being his team alive, but they weren't able to convert entirely on that Earth Shatter. Still the kill feed going red with the help of Chicken and Ginger. He does get the res, keeping his team back into it, and then Chicken getting a double kill. Dino has just been fragging out on this Zenyatta all set. And being a huge nuisance for anyone that's trying to be chased down. He's like Pursuit in Pokemon. Just does extra damage if someone's running away.
It's almost... He's getting so many Transcendence heals. Like, it's just the biggest trances I've seen in such a long time. Like, he's very patient with it. He's getting it almost every other team fight, it seems. Along with Madman, who's always getting those fat shatters every other fight. It's very key for this defense to continuously use their ults one by one.
Yeah, it almost seems like they have a ult ready at almost every single moment they possibly could need one. Ginger is still setting on this Valkyrie, and they're getting close to another Riptire here, and then after that they'll have a Gravitar. So they're able to cycle these ultimates very well here. His payload still coming to a halt for Is Pepsi OK. Again, Haplo diving right in. The Diva just staggering behind just a little bit, but they get rid of Muffin's Rage. Or at least their Muffin's Rage is lost on their team. King does return the favor, getting rid of Hero, but Ginger's waiting, had the Valkyrie and gets the res. Chicken going down onto Rube. Another one from 2 on that Riptire. I believe Matman getting a kill in the back, or at least helping out with Dino. Still getting close to another Earth Shatter. That's going to be big because they'll have a Graviton. So they have 1 Crowd Control ultimate. Then they'll be able to cycle into the Earth Shatter. That's 2 big big wins they could get on these next 2 fights. And they're only 30 seconds up on the board. There might not even be 2 fights going into this next one.
And the part that was unfortunate on the end of that fight was Purple did use his self-destruct as Diva, and he didn't gain any value out of it, no spacing or anything. He didn't unfortunately get any kills either. So Hero's going to be able to get probably a bit much out of this this Graviton Surge, as no zoning ultimates will be on the side of his Pepsi OK. Transcendence used a little bit early. Here comes the Graviton Surge, is going to pick up quite a few.
Oh, an Earth Shatter from inside the Graviton. But is Madman can be able to clean up entirely. Only gets felt up for his troubles. Has to fall all the way back as there's a monkey on the payload. And even Hero is getting bodied just a little bit here with the Discord onto him. And does get found out by Haplo. Gets put down for the count. And now we even have Madman on the Discord. Falls back and gets sliced up by King. And just in time, it looks like Is Pepsi OK. He should be able to get to this 3rd checkpoint here. And yeah, you're right. That Transcendence, it was in response to the blade from King. But the timing was just off, where it wasn't able to completely cover the blade. It wasn't able to completely cover the Graviton either.
Very, very correct. And Haplo also having to use his Prom Rage towards the end there just to stay alive to set up this wonderful positioning. It's a very good call on his part, so that way he can set up his team perfectly. Purple's going to be able to come online with another self-destruct. See if he can get somebody with a kill or 2, as the ult finish does go in the favor of the attacking team. As Pepsi OK going to be able to get this dive onto the Soldier. Try to bait out a few more. And there goes Yuri's Tac Visor. See if he picks up anybody. Chicken's going to be able to follow up on top of Haplo to answer along with the Valkyrie from Felt Up. And it's just a brawl right now, going back and forth with the reses coming, the healing, and all the kills coming through for his Pepsi OK. But the spawn advantage might be coming through in favor for Voltic.
Yeah, unless they're able to get rid of King, who picks up 2 on the blade. Muffin's Rage also gets 1 sitting in the back line, picks up Matman. Rube needs to put on some more work. He does get the kill on a Hero, but now this kill feed's going red. King gets rid of Yuri. That's a big pickup. And now it's Chicken, but he has a blade right in his face, and then, the dashing Genji in his face gets killed by Haplo, though, and then King getting on the board again. Might be going to a round 3 here, folks. A Pulse Bomb, but it only connects on Hero. He's still alive in that mech. Costs a lot of money. Doesn't want to be losing that and having to pay for another one. King and Haplo, though, on the board, getting a bunch of kills. Hero still on the payload, but gets slaughtered by Rube. Haplo picking up 1 out of the Ginger. This should be enough for his Pepsi OK. No defenders remaining, and we are, in fact, going to a round 3. Unless we done. I mean, it's a scrim. We might end it there, but still,
Yeah, the
both teams
DPS just
completing.
almost seemed to be everywhere on that attack phase. I mean, they honestly were just going back and forth with each other on who was one clipping each other and what support they needed to focus down first. It was just very, very interesting to see.
Yeah. We saw both tracers doing so much work in the back there. Rube, a menace, harassing. I mean, we even saw. Yuri putting in a lot of work too in that same hero. But yeah, that is the end of it. Both teams were able to get the full completion, so we got a good amount of maps. What I thought was a really fantastic set from both of these teams. Is Pepsi okay? An experienced team coming from semifinals of last season's playoffs of the Open Overwatch Open Division. Also have played in Warp Meta. Have also played in UGC League among others. Up against Voltic, who was switching around Chrono Dota and Matman on their main tank position. This is a really fantastic set. I didn't expect that much from Voltic because I wasn't sure to what extent they were doing tryouts, but they did a fantastic job and made this a really great set from both teams.
Really, again, I always like to focus on, when we swapped on the gardens on Tower, the first map, they realized what was happening on that first map, feeling each other out, who was manning each other's a little bit better and respectively so. And the second that they started wising up, playing more patiently, maybe got a few of the nerves up out of the way, because don't forget this is a very high elo match. They just really started coming through their communication, really protecting their supports, keeping their supports healthy, keeping tanks healthy, really just giving is Pepsi okay a run for the money, considering that they were in the sub dance. And
yeah, I would say this is pretty solid prospects for Voltic going into any possibly future tryouts or just trying to get down a base roster. So I would love to see Voltic in another show match pretty soon, and possibly with this roster another one as they continue to try and formulate their final roster here. But seeing it, it's I like seeing a team that's kind of in the midst of evolving and coagulating around their players, as opposed to is Pepsi okay, a more established team that already has things together, and how that plays off of each other. We saw that even they went despite being in completely different situations. So Pimp, I saw that you missed part of that match, but otherwise
Yeah.
we got a bunch of it.
Yeah, we got the second half. The first half, it was I don't know why. I don't know if I thought I hit the button to switch scenes and it didn't switch, or maybe I switched monitor. I put the producing screen on today, so I remember I used to do that all the time when I had it on the right side. And that's what I have it on the right side again. So I don't know, maybe that's which screen I have it on that I do that. But Chicken was popping off there. I'm really upset that I missed it because I think Chicken might be one of their tryouts they're looking at. There was someone in chat questioning it. I think it might have been one of their scouts or players from Voltic. But Chicken, he was popping off quite a bit with Hanzo on the last map, and unfortunately we didn't get to see that. There's times there was a time that we missed where he was inside a Graviton. He got a scatter kill on the Tracer, then got a headshot kill on the Zarya. So stuff like that was happening with him, and it was overall a great series. Actually, I think I gave the win to Voltic when it should have really went, or Pepsi when it should have went to Voltic. I put the score there wrong. I was going a little. I kind of scored it off the time a bit. Voltic had 3 minutes left there on the end of King's Row, so I gave them the win there. But I mean, it was a pretty even series. At first, Pepsi was kind of falling off. It seemed a little bit, and then they brought things back with Watchpoint and especially on Horizon. They had a decisive win there at the end. But it was a really great series. I think I was kind of underdog in Voltic, but they came out strong.
I think we all were.
Yeah, we definitely all were. I think there was, at least I didn't expect it to be a blowout, but I thought it was going to be a pretty solid advantage for is Pepsi okay. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see both these teams playing so even as they did, which is great. So that's probably very good for Voltic as well, considering that like I said, they didn't have an established team. So the fact that they're playing this well, just mixing around their players, probably says a lot for the core of the team.
Most definitely. To see tank tryouts like that, or if it was the tank tryouts, that fact, everybody just seemed very comfortable on what they were doing. A map or two in, it was just very nice to see everybody come through on their comfort picks, and just a really interesting playoff between teams.
Yeah, that first control map is always like a warm up. Like, it's not always indicative of what the rest of the set could be. And we saw that here as Pepsi okay had pretty solid advantage on Lijiang, and then Voltic just bringing it back on escort and assault and payload and all that.
Yeah, well,
Or
it was,
hybrid.
it was a great scrim here. Hopefully we'll get some more of these higher tiered teams from the Open Division NA, and maybe in the future we'll also be getting some EU. I know we got a few guys we're trying to get trained up so they can cast here as well. And who knows, maybe you'll see us cast some actual Open Division games during the season. But for now, we're going to stick with our scrim nights. And I'm Pimp of the Crib, and joined with me were Rapture and Panda. Have a great night, everyone.